Greetings all, it's the 21st of February 2022 and we're looking down on this tropical cyclone off Madagascar. Yet another one. They have just been hammered back-to-back tropical cyclones. If you want to see this imagery, go to Meteosat 8 on the RamMB slider page. The tropical cyclone's name is Emnati, and the winds are sustained 100 knots according to JTWC at initialization. 100 knots makes it equivalent to a Category 3 major hurricane. On our cyclone scale, the 100 knots according to JTWC would be 1 minute sustained, so we go down and note that it is an Epsilon class tropical cyclone based on the JTWC. The storm has been moving quite slowly over the last 12 hours or so. You can see it edging down though slowly towards the southwest. And it's also been wobbling around, and there are two eyes, an inner and an outer. The main agency responsible for monitoring and forecasting this storm is the Reunion Island guys, and they actually measure the intensity in terms of 10 minutes sustained, as opposed to JTWC, which has it at 1 minute sustained. So their wind measurements, or their observed estimates, will be lower, so 140 kilometers an hour. If we go back to the cyclone scale, we can have a look at where 140 kilometers an hour comes in. It's just 76 knots if you round up. If we check out the cyclone scale, we'll see that 76 knots is actually in the 10-minute column. It's a class down from what JTWC is measuring or estimating. So they're actually got different intensity cyclones from the different agencies, with the Reunion guys having a weaker storm at initialization. The tracks, though, are similar between the two agencies, both predicting a landfall in southeastern Madagascar, and that is around, that's 22 at 18Z. JTWC have the storm maintaining its 100 knot strength, so making landfall as a major hurricane strength system. This puts landfall a little further south, somewhere down here, compared to this storm, which was Batsarai, making landfall in early February. However, not all models are in agreement on this track, not at all in fact. Let's take a look. In particular, we have here the Hurricane Wharf, and actually there is another run just coming in, but it hasn't updated to see the whole track, so this is one run behind. This one was initialized at 06 21st of February. The storm comes down, but it is further south than the JTWC and Reunion guys track. As you can see, the eye only just clips the far southeastern corner of Madagascar. This would be quite encouraging for the folks further to the north, obviously, but also in general for Madagascar, because it does keep the strongest wind side of the storm of this anticyclonically rotating storm. Offshore, obviously, there are very damaging winds on the northern side and northwestern side too, but it's less impactful, much less impactful than a storm that would slam in further up the coast. So this track is going to be absolutely critical as to the impact of the storm. Some other models seem to be edging towards this more southerly track too, although there's only two in here. And let's see if the Hurricane Wharf latest run comes in before the end of this video. We can check that out. The problem is clear for Madagascar because they've had a number of tropical cyclones. I've almost lost count, quite frankly, but this was an area of coast on the southeastern portion, or eastern side, Farafangana. Let's take a look. This was in December 2021, end of last year. And then there was TC Anna, and as that went through, you can see the beaches opening up as water flowed out. But it was after Batsarai coming in now, 14th February, you can see a complete blow up of the sandbank here, and there's also erosion in other places. To compare with the Hurricane Wharf, let's look at the old European Center model, ECMWF. Now this storm is underestimating the intensity because it's poorly initialized, at least in this version of the model, which they have on windy.com. Still, the track may be not too far off the reality, but it is taking it much further north, up the coast. Look at that landfall. The Hurricane Wharf just clipped the southeast corner, and wow, this is a huge difference in such a short period of time to build up such a huge difference. So wow, this is really one to watch. You've got to be extremely careful on this coast to watch for the forecast over the next several hours for sure. As kind of expected, the GFS is edging more towards the H-Wharf, since the H-Wharf is initialized using the GFS background conditions, but the GFS is not taking the storm as far south as the Hurricane Wharf, not quite, but it's making landfall down there by Van Gaindrano. I'm just jumping back to Batsarai to see how similar these landfalls are, and this is the landfall of Batsarai. You can see the date there, 5th of February, and where it makes landfall around here. So that would be more close to the European centre landfall, whereas the GFS is somewhere down here and H-Wharf is just clipping the southeast coast. One of the things we can look at is the multimodal diagnostic comparison, and this shows the evolution of the forecast tracks over time. And look at the landfall location. It has been gradually edging further and further to the southeast side of Madagascar, so hopefully this pans out into a more southeastern landfall. So that is my very quick look at Emnati, and so we are looking at a landfall or a very close passage to southeastern Madagascar of a major hurricane strength storm, but at the moment can't say which way it's actually going to go, and the difference could be huge in terms of the impact. If this side avoids the land, then the worst of the impacts will be lessened. However, if it makes this northern landfall, then the situation is far worse. So we'll try and do an update a bit later. See you in the next one.